Hello, ladies and gents. Romie Mojo here. Please like, comment, subscribe. So here's this. I knew it. Haves and Have-Nots Season 7, Episode 2. I knew Catherine wasn't dead. We find that out. First of all, the commercial gave it away. But second, the commercial during the episode actually gave away that she was still alive. I don't know who didn't catch that, but I caught that. I said, wait a minute now. What? Anyway, Catherine's alive. And when Hannah eventually goes to talk to her, we find out that, like, I kind of thought Catherine was faking it. Wyatt shot at her, but up in the air. So she went, and what actually happened was she was not hit at all. She just pretended to be hit so that she could possibly live. And at this time, though, Wyatt doesn't know that yet. Hannah gets there after Benny and Candace wake her up, tell her that there was a shooting. And when Hannah actually gets there, Wyatt is a Looney Tune. Wyatt was like, I shot them. I shot all of them. And Hannah looked terrified. She went in the house. She talked to Catherine. But it was weird because George wanted to talk to Hannah as well. Because in Jim's study, there was a note saying 8 million reasons why, and it having to do with Benny. So Hannah knows the 8 million is the dollars, but she can't focus on that right now. She's not going to give them any information because George was trying to fish for information. Hannah, she did good. She did good. She didn't say anything that could help. But what did happen was she goes up there, she's talking to Catherine, and Hannah wants to know, because of course it's her son. So she's trying to ask Catherine, hey, is there any reason why Jim would go and do something to Benny? Catherine looks over at Hannah like, now you know I just got shot by my own son. You think I have time to be worrying about yours? That was the energy that Catherine was giving. And Hannah was still looking at her like, that's my son. And Catherine was saying, well, mine just tried to kill me. So there is that. They kind of squashed that, and they have to because something huge happens. George kept asking Catherine, are you okay? Are you okay? I thought that was super odd. I said, no. Say, no. Say, I'm like, there could be fluid in your lungs. Just say, I want to go to the hospital. I want to be checked. Something kept telling me that because I guess I've watched too many of these things to know that when they do that, it's usually not for your benefit. It's to cover them. And that's exactly what happened. George is arresting you know who, Catherine, because of Jennifer's. I said, wow, we are really just now we're finally getting full circle with this show. We're finally getting full circle with the show. And he was like, oh, I got you. We dropped that for a moment. Let's go to the hospital. In the hospital, Justin's still there. And he wants Madison. Madison doesn't want to deal with Justin. So he asks his friend to go, hey, no, that doesn't work. She goes and he's like, no, I'm requesting you know who, being Madison. And Madison goes in there. And he's like, look, I'm not going to help you. Leave me be. It's like, yeah, but you're such a nice guy. Long story short, somehow, some way, Justin paid for, well, he does have that mom who has money, paid for his bail. So he's out now. He's officially out and he needs assistance getting dressed. So then Madison helps him, but then Justin, they were so close. I was like, oh, Madison, you're attracted to, oh, God, what the hell? To make matters worse, to make matters worse, Justin was complimenting Madison's body. He was like, oh, you work out, right? And Madison was like, yeah, I'm thinking, what? See, and we know how this goes. Justin is a lunatic. Not a lunatic, but a loony tick. And as a loony tick, you really can't trust him because Now, what he's going to do is he's going to divert all of his attention that he was giving to Jeffrey and divert part of that now to Madison. I can't deal. That was all that happened with those two. But then we move on to the cops finally showing up to David's house. They're asking questions. David's tight-lipped, even though he wanted to, David's tight-lipped. Jeffrey is the one who is divulging all of the information. Sidebar, thank God we finally got the short haircut on Jeffrey, because when they were putting those weird wigs on his head or prop hair on his head, I was like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Anyway, but Jeffrey said, my mama goes to this salon and she goes there at this time of day and she only goes on Tuesdays. And this is her address to her current living residence. And at that current living residence, if you go up the stairs to the right, it's the first bedroom. And yes, she has reason to do this because, and David was looking and he looked like he wanted to say, you better shut the bleep up. But another side of him said, you know what? This has to be done. And it does. It did have to be done. So then the cops can't hold Jeffrey and David there once they find out that from the cops that, oh, something happened at the Cryer residence, that there was a shooting. There was multiple shootings. And I mean, there's only 3 people at the Cryer residence that actually lived there, which means you know who got blah, blah, blah. Technically. If we're saying actual residents, not workers. David, because that's his best friend. That's his best friend. He goes running over there. Before that, Jeffrey lets it slip out that, oh, I didn't think he would do it. He realizes that it must have been Wyatt, because Wyatt did call him and say that he's going to shoot and kill his parents. And Jeffrey was so over it, he didn't say anything. The cop asked him, why wouldn't you? The detective asked, why wouldn't you? And he said, why is a drug addict? Like, and he's one of those, and he's a fiend. So you can't take too much of what he's saying seriously or trust too much of what he's saying. Now, we do have a developing update. Candace still has the money. Just keep that in mind. Candace has the money. Benny said, you know what this means? You can keep the money. Candace says, first off, we don't even know if Jim is dead or not. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He can't go after you right now. So just take the money and run. Candace doesn't do that. Smart, thankfully. Mitch comes along. Mitch says that he has Candace. He's going to protect her. He's going to watch out for her. If he needs, and it kind of sounded like if you need me to go after the president, I'll do that. It did kind of sound like that. But no, Candace said no. Everything's fine. Gives Mitch a hug. That was a long hug. And so Benny had to break that up. And Candace, the house phone rings, which she made a slick comment about who still has a house phone. And it's her father, Derek. Derek said, wait, Hannah? Or can I talk to Hannah? It's like, no, but you can talk to your daughter. Derek has egg on his face. It's hilarious, but terrible at the same time. And he wanted to apologize. She said, don't apologize. He said, can I talk to you? Can I come back? No. And I'll think about seeing you. Think about. And he was like, fair enough. I think that it was much different than what Candace thought it would be, because Candace really thought, oh, okay, I'll talk to my father. No, a lot of times it's not like that when you have issues with someone, when you're trying to connect with someone and there's like bad blood. And the only other thing to really mention this episode, which I kind of didn't want to because he gets on my everlasting nerves, is I believe Mitch and Benny did actually talk, but that's, I don't care about that. What I do care about is Landon. So Landon is talking to his protege. We find out he did train the guy who isn't the new chief of staff, and he did mess up, so he probably won't be the new chief of staff, but the president might be desperate and just make him his chief of staff anyway. Landon's pissed at him, feels like he's a traitor. They didn't sleep together, do anything together. It's just like a competitive rivalry. That's what they have. A competitive rivalry. And because they have a competitive rivalry, Landon's like, I hate you. I said, Landon, you sound like such a, be nice. Be nice. Anyway, Landon it's just kind of halfway threatening him. Guy's partially ignoring him. I'm thinking, Landon, you sat at his table. He was having a drink all by his lonesome. You didn't want to be alone. So then Landon leaves there. He starts talking to this guy who isn't interested in him. This guy who isn't gay, or at least, even if he isn't interested in Landon. He's just trying to do his work. And the guy was actually pretty cool in the sense where Landon could have gotten effed up. And Landon constantly goes after a certain type of guy that he knows instinctively he probably can't have for whatever reason. Such a thirsty, desperate bit. Thirsty, desperate bit. But he does know this. At first I thought, Landon, what are you doing? And because he took out his phone, I'm thinking, are you taking a picture of this guy? The guy said the same thing. Landon was like, no. Landon took a picture of one of the Republican aides that helped take down Candace and Charles' relationship. So Landon takes a picture of this guy canoodling with a woman that is not his wife. You come to Detroit from DC to play around with your mistress or mistresses? So now Landon is going to use this guy. He said, first off, what are you doing? Did you mess with Charles? Are you doing anything right now to mess with Charles? And I said, no. I'm just here, whatever. Landon said, I will keep this picture for when I need it. You go and leave. I'm thinking, so what's going to go on with this storyline? But yeah, that was pretty much it, with the exception of Veronica and the goons. Veronica got a call from Celine. Celine is going to go and meet up at Veronica's house the following day so that they can figure out a plan to go after Jim. Veronica gets ambushed. She's in her home, and then all these goons, and then the main goon goes and says, hey, we need to talk. Essentially, he wants to make sure the medical bills, the funeral bills for his people, especially his brother, are paid, and money set aside for his nieces and nephews. So Veronica basically said she already did all of that already. I'm thinking, Veronica's good. She can go on the phone in 5 minutes, have that all set up, even if she's lying out her mouth. Because there were so many of them, there was nothing Veronica could do. But I love her comment. She was like, oh, why does it smell like, smell like musty balls? She was like, do any of you shower? And then there was this one guy who she was interested in, but then she was like, why don't you go shower and clean up and then call me tomorrow? Get my number from you, dude. But that was interesting because Veronica didn't even stay in her own home. So that's how you know that she was really, really concerned. Really concerned, no matter how much she tried to play it off. No matter how much she tried to play it off. All right, so that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week. Hey, ladies and gents, I forgot to mention that Jim is still alive at this moment, as well as, I'm probably going to make a full recovery. Let's just call it for what it is. As well as Catherine was asking for him a lot. I thought, oh, isn't that gross?